This is an important reminder. It's not about completely how we feel in the process of calling these people and getting rejection and getting pushback and invariably getting no's way more than we hear yeses. It's about what money hits your bank account. It's what it's about. Yeah, majorly, to a minor extent, the feeling of doing business. You want to do well, right? You want to feel good about it. That's very important. But if you're getting money at a multiple at this rate right here, well above the investment, talking close to 4 to 1, I assure you, if you do that week in, week out, you ain't going to have any mindset issues. The only mindset issue you're going to have is, well, how am I going to spend $3,000 a week cash flow? It's a pretty good problem to have, right? And this is interesting. I think of a couple of things. I think of Puff Daddy, more money, more problems. It's funny how that kind of turned out to be true. And then I think about the fact that in life, you're going to have problems. They don't always, just because you make money and do well doesn't mean your life eliminates problems. You eliminate problems that are associated with poverty and struggle, right? The things at that level, but you inherit new problems, right? Like, how do you manage this business getting beat up, quote unquote, beat up, right? And there's some things I'll talk about here in a minute, but problems don't go away. It's a matter of trading some problems out for new problems, right? So understand that this is the natural process right here of what a good agent looks like. Now, then I told this particular agent, I said, hey, look, you're doing everything right, and this is the easiest problem to fix. She was like, really? I was like, yeah, I wish everybody's problem was this, because you're getting results. You're getting on the phone. You're closing people. You're getting traction, right? You're doing the work. She's working. Hallelujah, right? And all we got to do is do more of the same. It's that simple. There's an agent that I've kind of dogged on a little bit here in a good way. I don't know if he's here right now. I don't think he is. And I've told him a couple of times, he told me what he's doing, and he's seen massive success out of doing it. And he's talking about buying age leads or doing this, something completely different from what works. And I'm like, what? No, do more of what works. He's got the opportunity to scale it higher, but there's this kind of residual fear, right? The mindset issues, right? So a couple of things more on this that I think are important. Some of the takeaways here. Number one, there's a paradox of success in this business that you just have to embrace. And it's that regardless if you're face-to-face or telesales, I think it's more often the case with over-the-phone sales, especially on an outbound basis, you will hear no way more than you're going to hear yes. But even if you do, you can still be successful. That's it's a paradox. You know what I mean by paradox? Like, you would think if I'm successful, that means everybody tells me yes. No, no. It means that a minority large enough to substantiate and justify doing the business say yes, but you still experientially get rejected, quote unquote, more often than you get acceptance. And that's crazy. And this is why this does a head trip to a lot of people. That's why this agent was calling me like, I don't feel good about this. You know, I get turned down. I got to chase people. Well, that's, again, with the proper perspective, that is one of those things that is the bad part of this business. You've got to chase, you've got to call, you got to deal with people ghosting, you got to deal with people hanging up on you. That doesn't go away for a successful person. That's the thing. Believing that goes away is, what's the word? It's fantasy. Okay. It's puerile. It's, it's unrealistic. Okay. You're going to have problems scaled low, and you're going to have a problem. You're going to have problems scaled high. Okay. You're just going to have more of those problems, ironically, right? At higher activity levels, you're going to hear no more than the guy who's not doing as much work or buying as many leads. But if you're doing well, you're going to get more yeses. And all that pays the bills is the yeses. It's not the no's. There's lessons to be learned from the no's, right? And if you set aside the emotional reaction and think about this soberly and examine what you've done, record your calls, listen to them. What did I do? How can I do it better? What maybe contributed to this no? There is absolute value in those no's. Don't just toss them away. But the no's don't pay. The yeses do. And the pay from the yeses far outstrip the cost of hearing the no's from an economic standpoint. But we live in the present and we deal with the problems right here, right now in front of us, right? And it's the people that can bridge that gap between knowing logically the sequence of events, the strategy, the execution long-term, and bridging the inevitable qualms and problems and frustrations and, you know, the things that we all experience. The person that can bridge that is the one that has the highest chances of seeing success in this business. So every action you take, whether it's a yes or a no, has a monetary value, right? You just don't get to bank it and feel it until you actually make the sale. But every single action brings you closer to a bankable result, right? The point being that even the no's are worth something valuable, and you have to experience those to get to the yeses. And this doesn't change as you get better. It's not like there's some pot at the end of the rainbow that you don't hear no's anymore. You know, it's just get over it, accept it. Better you do it now than later. I thought I could get away with it earlier on. Like, I don't want to hear no's. Of course you don't. Who does? I just want to hear yeses. But that in part led me to my initial failure in the business. Right? We know this business, and we try to be upfront as possible. It is an emotional roller coaster, as experienced with this particular agent. But it doesn't matter. You have to go through that to get to that return on investment, because that's what matters. A bunch of people telling you no don't matter. The few people that say yes, that pay your bills and helps you take care of family, those are the people you're looking for. And it is the proverbial needle in the haystack process. Make no mistake. More so with telesales outbound than with running a face-to-face strategy. And I think there's something too about massive action as well. You know, we look. I took this kind of approach on the content side of the business, doing YouTube videos. I didn't want to do just one video a week because I'm not rapidly getting as good as I could be. But if I put out a bunch of content, I'm always making videos, I'm going to get better. I'm going to be able to speak clear and clarify things and connect better with my audience, right? So I've, for the longest time, have committed to almost daily content. And likewise, if we look at this business, and I think I've gotten better because of it. And likewise, if we look at this business, by doing more, you overcome that learning curve that much faster, right? So you really want to dial in and work, get better faster, right? And there comes a time when your success and capability to convert are so good that you don't necessarily need to work as hard to convert as much. But that comes really after you've worked at this thing for years. It doesn't just happen automatically. And thank goodness it shouldn't, right? Because if it did, again, it's that whole, if it was easy, everybody be doing it, right?